What's up, everyone? It's your boy Richard Graves with my partner Jonathan Golden from up in the Detroit area. We're going to talk about a few topics today. We're going to touch base and talk about the shooting that happened to this young man, unfortunately tragic, named Dexter Reed, who was shot 96 times during a traffic stop in Chicago. So we're going to discuss that, and we're going to discuss Mayor Johnson's reaction to everything. I think that's going to be interesting to talk about. And of course, we're going to touch base and talk about Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro's little civil war. So what's up, everyone? Please like and subscribe to the channel. We're going to start off. We're going to go ahead and watch a little clip from CNN to get some context and understand what happened in Chicago the other day, at least what we know. So I'm going to bring that up. And we're going to go ahead and listen to the news real quick.
6 shots in 41 seconds at one man in a deadly traffic stop last month that killed 26-year-old Dexter Reed. Newly released body cam video shows what led to this all. Police say they pulled Reed over for not wearing a seatbelt. When officers approached his SUV, the situation quickly escalated. CNN's Omar Jimenez spoke exclusively to the family of Dexter Reed and has their reaction to seeing the body camera video that was just released a few hours ago.
What was your reaction to seeing that video?
It was terrifying.
For Dexter Reed's sister, his mother.
Oh, Lord Jesus, please help me.
And his entire family. What played out on newly released body camera video is nothing but pain.
They shot him down like an animal. Why did they shoot him them many times? He's already dead. Why you study shooting him like that? They killed my son and they killed me too.
March 21st, 2024. Chicago police are initiating a traffic stop on a driver reportedly for not wearing a seatbelt, according to the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. A traffic stop being conducted by 5 tactical officers.
Roll the window down. What are you doing?
Roll this one down.
Roll that one down too. Hey, don't roll the window up. Don't roll the window up.
Okay.
Do not roll the window up. Unlock the doors now.
The temperature quickly escalates. One officer puts what appears to be his gun on the windshield. Reed then fires first, hitting an officer in the forearm, according to the initial investigation. Then, chaos.
Hey! It's St. Louis gun!
Shots fired.
Hey, shots fired! Pick it up!
Reed goes down. Then, 3 final gunshots, 96 in total, according to investigators. A gun was later recovered from the front seat of Reed's car. Portia Banks had just been on the phone with her brother in the minutes before it all happened. Then, she turned on a police scanner at her shop.
I'm listening to the police talking, like saying shots fired, but I can hear all the shots on the scanner. Like I can hear so many shots, so many shots, so many shots. But didn't know that it was my brother. So then to know later on that night that them shots that I heard and then the ambulance going past my shop was my brother was the most heartbreaking thing that I could ever felt in my life.
One of the family's attorneys argues this never should have happened in the first place.
There was a weapon recovered in his car. However, it started with an unconstitutional, pretextual, and unnecessary stop of Dexter Reed. And that's what precipitated the entire incident.
And questions remain over why tactical officers initiated a traffic stop for a supposed seatbelt violation. As part of a brief statement, Chicago police says this incident is still under investigation, but the stop is where it all began.
If you don't stop my nephew, he'll be alive today.
Reed's uncle sitting alongside his father.
When this happened to my nephew, I hope the police can understand that this is the same pain that they feel when an officer is killed in the line of duty.
It's a pain that manifests in memories and pain that manifests in despair.
They took my son away from me. He ain't got that no more. I don't know what I'm gonna do without him. And I just wish that I could talk to him one more time. But to see him gunned down, I never ever thought that it'd be him. I never thought that it would be him. I never thought that it would be him.
All right, brother.
Let me go first, bro. Please let me go first. I'm going to take the practical route, and then I'm going to take what I question about this entire, because it's fishy.
Well,
right?
first, let's say this. My prayers for the family that lost this young man. Period. All right. At the very base of this, there's a young man that's dead now. Okay, 26-year-old man, his life is over. His family is grieving. So that's the first reality we have to accept. So my prayers for the family getting through this. All right, before we talk about any of the practicalities or anything like that, let's just make sure that everyone knows no one is happy this young man. I'm not happy this young man is dead.
No,
You're definitely not happy. All right, so that I want to make very clear. All right, and that's it. So go ahead, brother.
Well, if you shoot at the police, it's a wrap. And then go ahead and say what you want to say. You shoot the police, it's over. They finna, they coming, they emptying clips, and that's just is what it is. That you can't be mad at the police for that. They're supposed to do that. I mean, you shoot at the police, you're not just shooting at the police. You're shooting at other passersby. You're shooting at people in houses, right? Those bullets don't have names on it. I don't know why the young man would have done that, but you shoot at the police. It is what it is. It's really open and shut. At the very same time, Rich, I'm not in law enforcement. I don't claim to be. This is a question I would defer more to you. Why is the tactical team putting somebody over for not wearing a seatbelt?
Well, here's the reality of the situation. This is what I'm concerned about. All right. The tactical team ain't normally pulling nobody over for not wearing a seatbelt. So there's more to this story. The two things
that came from the police side.
Yeah, hear me out. That may have been what they used for probable cause for pulling them over. But I'm saying that tactical officers ain't normally driving around trying to do traffic stops. Now they do them in high crime areas. You see that in high crime areas, which the area he was in is a high crime area. It's like if you're in LA and South Central or in the Boogie Down in New York, there's areas where there's a lot of activity and tactical officers are out and they do pull people over. So maybe they did, but I don't think they're pulling people over and they're suspicious of something else. You see, it's not like a patrol officer. He sees you, don't get a seatbelt, pulls you over, comes up, gives you a ticket. End of discussion. I've gotten tickets for no seatbelt. I don't know if you have. In most cases, yeah, I've gotten tickets for no seatbelt.
Traffic cop looking specifically for that.
Right. When they're trying to make that quota, whatever they're doing. So I'm just like, okay, what really happened? Because two things are suspicious to me. Tactical pulls him over and he gets a gun on his seat. Those two things let me know is what else is going on here. We haven't heard anything about the young man, so I can't say that he was on something, maybe because a lot of young men carry guns in Chicago, unfortunately, out of fear of the homies. Okay, I'm being honest with you. There are a lot of normal young black males who are not gang related, all right, who are not criminals, but they carry guns. Sometimes the guns, and the question is, was the gun legal? Because he could have got a gun card. I don't know. But that's the question though. The other question is, once the police have identified themselves, as the police, okay, now I'm like, man, I've gotten pulled over. You've gotten pulled over. Okay, I'm good. Whatever you ask me to do, I'm going to do. I'll give you my license and my registration and my insurance, and I'm planning on suing you later. I'm getting your badge number. I already don't push record on my phone, record the whole interaction. And you come to me with, I'm pulling you over for a seatbelt or whatever mess like that, then I go to court and argue with you. I'm not going to shoot at you. That's the question. What what facilitated, what brought him to feel the response to know these were clearly police, lights were on, vest out, you see their mark, these are the police. They're giving you orders, and what brings us to you shooting at them? That's the question.
Let me ask you this, Rich. In most traffic stops I've been on, the police were parked behind me. This one was beside them. That doesn't seem to be a safe, and I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm not questioning. I'm asking a safe maneuver for the police to do to pull alongside the person. See, there's some things that don't match up.
Well, when tactical pulls you over, it's different than a regular routine.
Okay.
It's not the same thing. I don't know. Like when I used to be out in LA, them dudes was on it, man. I mean, them detectives, if they saw you, they thought you was active or you was with active people, man, they come in. They're coming in at an angle. You know, your cars go like this. They're coming in at an angle. They're in front of you. You ain't going nowhere. So it leads me to believe what else is happening that we're not being told. You know, the Chicago Fraternal Police is very quiet. They haven't said anything, which is unusual. All right. So there's got to be more to the story that's coming. You know, so I don't want to. I will say this: at base, if you shoot at the police, you pretty much done set yourself up to be shot.
Right. That ain't no way around that. Ain't no
the 96 shots. Like I said, we as human beings, we're like, okay, man, how many times you got to shoot at a guy? We don't know how many times he was hit. We don't know if he's still shooting at them while they're shooting. All right, because the guy out the car, he was standing up, and they finally shot him, and he went down. So there's a lot that before I have a real serious opinion about who is responsible, who's wrong, who's right. We're missing information right now, you know, and the media is trying to spin it as, oh my God, 96 shots. Oh my God, the pullover is unconstitutional. Those things may be true. When the uncle said that if they don't pull him over, he's not dead now. That's true. Also, you can't if you didn't shoot at the police, you're not dead now either. We get pulled over all the time. If it's racial profiling, I've been racially profiled. All right, you've been racially profiled. I've had officers look at my face and do a U-turn, turn around, pull me over, and they'll come up with, "Oh, your seatbelt wasn't on, or your headlight was out, or your light on your license plate, whatever." You know, run my name, find out I'm not on anything. That's racial profiling. Okay, so we can say that it's possibly racial profiling, even though how do you racial profile in a neighborhood full of black people? When that has happened to me, generally I've not been in black neighborhoods when I've been pulled over by police because of my black face. I'm not in Inglewood or over in Austin or when I'm out in LA, I'm not over on Crenshaw Slauson driving, police pull me over because I'm black, because everybody's black, you know. So there's more to the profiling than that, as you and I know, if it is profiling. But I just question what was really going on. You know what I'm saying? There's just we are lacking information is all I'm saying.
Yeah, and you got to look at it. It's like when I predicted that we're going to have another police shooting around this time. I put that on my Facebook, saying, "Hey, we're going to have another one. Maybe not necessarily another one, but a one that's going to make national attention, and we have to be cognizant of why."
Right.
The things around this is still some questions about why he was pulled over. Obviously, he shot at the police. You're not going to win that one. I don't question the 96 shots, but how it's been sensationalized in CNN, the cover story, 96 shots as if it was unwarranted, is how the headline reads, in my opinion. Right. So the 96 shots don't bother me because you don't know which one's going to hit and take effect to stop the threat. My only problem with the 96 shots is those are 96 shots, and you can't necessarily control where they're going. And there's a residential area there. I don't know if you can do more than what they did. I'm not a police officer.
I'm going to say that when the police are shooting at you, they're shooting at you. All right. And what I mean by that, there's a reason why they changed from the 9mm to the Glock. Because the 9mm, you shoot, that bullet's going through some things.
Okay.
Right? The Glock, 40 or 45 that they carry. I don't know which one it is, and they're also aiming for center mass. They're aiming at exactly. You shoot at the police, they're aiming at center mass. Nobody's John Wick, so nobody's trying to aim at headshots or trying to do knee shots. They're aiming at center mass. So they're all aiming at now there's a car there that they lit up the car. All right. So they're aiming at him. Now, of course, you don't want to be shooting in a residential neighborhood. But the moment someone shoots at you, you gonna shoot back if you got a gun. All right. Unless you got hit. If you're a citizen or if you're the police, it could have been me and you. If he'd have shot at us and we were both strapped and we both legally carrying, right? Concealed carry. He shoots at us. We turn around, we shoot at him. All we need is one person say he shot at them first. We're not going to prison. We're not going to jail. Nobody's going to care that we unloaded the clip. None of that's going to even matter in court, bro. The only thing that's going to matter is did he shoot at them? Our witness say, yeah, I was outside. I saw him shoot at them. We like, what the hell? We start shooting back. All right. We hitting car. We don't know if we hitting him. He's still shooting at us. He jump out. We going to keep shooting. You know? And if we don't know, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're wrong, I'm not going to speak for you. If me and you walking down the street and somebody jump out, start shooting at us, are you going to shoot back? And are you going to stop shooting when you're shooting back if they're still shooting at you?
Well, you got to shoot till you know the threat is gone, and I agree. I don't disagree with that. It's still, I understand they aim for center mass, but aiming for center mass and hitting center mass is two different things. And I'm not criticizing them. Don't misunderstand me. But when you have that many shots, it's you put the neighborhood in risk, right? You just do.
Well, yeah, you don't want to. First of all, nobody wants to shoot out. Nobody rational wants to shoot out. I don't think that those officers started the day wanting to shoot out. I would hope that young man did not start going out wanting to shoot at, or, I'm sure that nobody wanted that type of interaction. All right. I know people are going to think I'm being soft on the police. I don't think people wake up and say, I want to go shooting at people today. I don't buy that narrative that the average police officer, tactical patrolman or whatever is saying, I wake up and I want to shoot somebody. All right. I don't think that's what's going through their mind. I will say this, they pulled him over for a reason, and the reason wasn't that seatbelt. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
That might be what they're saying, and that's probable cause. You can pull over somebody for not having a seatbelt on. But normally, you've seen like a Law and Order episode where the detective's on some BS and they get behind somebody and they pull them over for traffic stuff. They're detectives. They don't normally pull over traffic. You got tactical, but these tactical units are in these type of in neighborhoods where there's high crimes and high shootings. Like, for example, this is a stat from last week. Okay. All right. Chicago shooting, at least 15 people were shot, 2 killed in weekend gun violence across the city. A lot of that was in Washington Park, South and West Side. That's where it's concentrated at, in black neighborhoods. All right. Crime across Chicago is down, but it's up in our neighborhoods. All right. That's a different discussion. You and I have talked about it before. We're talking about it again at a different time. But I'm saying these tactical units are there for a reason, because stuff is happening. You got your BDs, your GDs, your Vice Lords, your Stones. You got your insane gangs. You got this block, that block, Terrortown, old block. There's a lot going on. So the tactical teams are out there. All right. And when you got that going on, the tactical teams out there, they're looking for things. All right. The fact they pulled this young man over and he happened to have a gun. Well, we don't know what was that about, and I'm sure there's going to be more coming out about this story, but like I said, a lot of young black men in Chicago who are not gang affiliated, who are not criminals, have guns because they're scared. Some of these guns, hopefully, to my young brothers out there, please, if you're going to carry, conceal and carry, get your concealed carry, go to the range, learn how to shoot, learn gun safety. Because I understand, if it were me and you in one of these neighborhoods, and we know that this is going on, we might be, I know I would be, I ain't gonna even lie, so, I'm not faulting the young man for having the gun, but I just don't know why he decided to shoot at the police on a traffic stop. I would have complied, gave them whatever they wanted, and went to court and sued them if they was truly bogus. And maybe it's because he knew he had the gun on the seat. I don't know.
Yeah, and the last two gentlemen that spoke, I don't know if they were lawyers or clergy. Those
are his relatives.
His relatives. He said they pulled him over unlawfully.
Now, the one attorney said it was a non-constitutional stop, and this is the thing. This is where I divide with the with progressives. All right, don't get me wrong. I understand we all have our constitutional rights. Okay, and even if you are correct that it was an unconstitutional stop, then sue. All right, sue. But it becomes irrelevant because this young man is dead. He's dead. Did you prove a point about unconstitutional stops?
Right.
You know, I mean, it's sad. It saddens me because another young brother is gone. All right, and no one's talking about the real issues. Why did he feel he needed to have a gun? Let's go with the narrative. I don't know this young man. I know the pictures they've shown. And of course, you know, sometimes we find out more later. But looking at this young man, like any other young black man, I don't, to me, he doesn't look like he was in any picture. There was nothing that indicated to me that he's gang affiliated. He might just be in the hood and scared and carrying a gun because he's scared, you know? So the first question is, why did he feel that he needed to have a gun? What's going on in the neighborhood with this young man that feels he needs to have a gun? Two, these older uncles, why don't you tell him how to carry a gun, where it's supposed to be? You know, hopefully it was legal. And it shouldn't be loaded on your seat in those circumstances. You know, you could have it strapped on you. And then when you get pulled over, when you take the concealed carry class, you get pulled over, police. And we know what happened to the young man. Was it Philandro Castile down in Minnesota who told him he had a gun? He got shot anyway. That can happen. But in most cases, you say, hey, I got a weapon. Okay, step out the car. Do exactly what they say. Let them pull the weapon off you. Don't reach for nothing. All right, because they don't know you. You know, they don't know you, you know, and you don't know them. So I'm not going to make any sudden movements. You might be the one that does that one that is looking to shoot somebody. I don't know, you know, but there's a way, you know, that you're supposed to carry, you know, if it was legal. Now, if he was not legally carried, that brings a whole different situation. Now you got an illegal gun. Why do you have this gun? And that leads to the question, why did you shoot at the police instead of complying to what they were asking you to do? You know?
Yeah, I don't think this one is that controversial. I mean, you can make a case of unconstitutionally being pulled over, which is okay, but you shot at the police, dog. Like, I mean, what the fuck you think was gonna happen?
Yeah, I mean, well, we know what's gonna happen if you shoot at the police. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what happened if you shoot at me. If you don't hit me,
right.
I'm not asking no questions. I'm not trying to investigate any further. It's a wrap, you know? And at the end of the day, like I said, everybody trying to go home, but that young man didn't go home. And I have several questions. I got questions that need to be answered. There's a lot that needs to be answered. So I'm not blaming anyone, the young man or the police, but you are bringing up a very logical, rational point. If you shoot at the police, they will shoot back. If you shoot at anybody that got a gun, they're gonna shoot back. Now the police have an obligation to be professional and do things by the numbers because they are the paid professionals. But if you shoot at the paid professionals, the paid professionals are gonna shoot back. And we don't know how many shots were still flying while they kept shooting. We don't know how many shots he fired. You know, we know he shot first.
He hit one of the officers in the elbow.
Right. We know he shot first. We don't know how many shots he fired. If you're still shooting, they still shooting, right? If you're shooting at me and I'm shooting back, I'm shooting till you not shooting.
Right.
So that how many shots were fired? How many shots did he fire? You know, you got all these cops around. They shooting at you. You shooting at people back. Did he shoot one time and they lit him up? That's one thing. Did he keep shooting and they kept shooting? We don't know. See, and this is the problem with this story, how it's being presented. They're running to jump the gun and try to paint this as one thing. And now I'm going to agree with you. You know, I saw where you said there'll be a police shooting soon. I think you're right. There'll be a police shooting that the media is going to try to spin a certain way.
Yep.
Biden is down in the polls with black folk right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real. Mm-hmm. Mayor Brandon in Chicago, Mayor Johnson, he's polling low with black folks right now for various reasons. Okay, they just lost a Cook County state's attorney race to the handpicked successor of Kim Foxx, lost to another Democrat, but because she's white and a little bit less progressive, that she might as well be a right-wing Make America Great Again person in Chicago. All right, but she won. So there's, the way they're playing the story is the problem.
Right.
They keep trying to put the police in a light they're saying everything, they're emphasizing everything except the fact that this young man shot at the police.
Yeah, that's not in the headline.
Yeah,
Not
that
the
should be in
headline.
the headline with the 96 shots. And,
Right.
And of course I see, black man shot by police. They like doing that. And I'm telling you, you see what Charlemagne the God and Coleman Hughes and a lot of brothers who are saying, Joe Budden, Ice Cube, and he said, in fact, I criticized Ice Cube the first time that Trump ran. But all these prominent black men are starting to say, hey, maybe we need to think about who we're voting for this year.
Right.
And the progressives, the radical left is losing their mind. They're calling them coons, Uncle Toms, sellouts. Who in your right mind thinks that we're going to call Ice Cube a coon?
Right.
I mean, you calling Ice Cube.
You wrote fuck the police now.
Yeah, you were calling Ice Cube a coon because he simply said, if the Democrats are going to get our votes, they need to do something for them. And maybe we need to consider all options. I'm not saying that we should vote for Republicans. I'm damn sure not saying we should vote for Trump. But at the end of the day, we have to, hold people accountable we're giving our votes to. So I'm just saying that's serious. Now, what also happened today, family and community activists called for the firing of the officers who shot and killed Dexter Reed. All right. 2 people were injured as protesters clashed and blocked the intersection outside a police station. So here we go with this stuff again. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
How's that helping anything right now? We don't even know what happened. Y'all already protested.
Right.
There is so much information we don't have about this. There's so many questions that need to be answered. And it's like some people are going to knee-jerk support the police. Some people are going to knee-jerk support the brother. I'm not knee-jerking either way on this one. I'm like, okay, because I've been burnt too many times, oh my God, the police was wrong. Find out, no, they wasn't. Oh my God, the police was right. Find out, no, they wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to wait this one out. We're going to follow up on this show when we get some more information because, like I said, we're lacking a lot of information there. I'm going to play one more video, and it's just going to talk a little bit about the protest. We'll see if they actually get to what happened in Chicago with the protest. How it goes because we don't ever hear that side of it. So let me go ahead and get that screen to share. Y'all like, dang, cuz, hey, y'all know I'm not the technology dude, so bear with me.
Dexter Reed's sister spoke out at a demonstration tonight saying her brother should still be here. Our Jermon Terry is live in the control room sharing the message from Reed's family and the community. Jermon.
Erica, supporters can't wrap their mind around the amount of shots fired by officers. And they point out just as many shots went off after Dexter Reed exited his SUV. Tonight, they gathered asking and saying this was excessive force by all 5 officers.
No justice! No peace! Defund the police!
A fired up and emotional crowd.
All these racist cops, we don't need them.
They are all here demanding what they call justice in the death of Dexter Reed, especially after the release of this video of CPD shooting.
96 shots for a traffic stop. How does that make sense?
The 5 officers involved were part of a special tactical unit. Those rallying, including Reed's family.
Before we go further, I'm going to have to say something. Okay, this sister said 96 shots for a traffic stop. See, this is the type of stuff that irritates me. He did not get shot over a traffic stop. He got shot because he shot at the police. Why can't, this is why we don't ever have real conversations about this. It all becomes emotive, hyperbole and rhetoric, and no justice, no peace. We want to do slogans and sayings and defund the police and all this mess. And nobody in that crowd knows what really happened. At this point, all we know is he shot the police and the police shot him. We do know the police shot 96 shots. We don't know how many shots he shot, which is important. We just don't know that, and that is important because if you still shooting, they still shooting. So, but let's see what else is going on here.
Family.
This is my brother.
are questioning how and why 5 special ops officers responded to a traffic stop with their guns drawn.
Unload your clip 3 times, shooting over 35 times is murder.
While family and supporters consider what played out in the Humble Park neighborhood murder, the Cook County State's Attorney and the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, or COPA, are determining if it's...
Okay, you see that, Jonathan?
Yeah.
What are you doing in this situation, Jonathan?
I ain't rolling that window up, and I'm getting my ass out fuck about the car.
Okay, this is problematic. You clearly know these are police, and in the hood, everybody knows unmarked police. We know tactical. You know what they look like. We know.
No, Rich. Let me slow you down.
You don't know that?
Everybody doesn't know that.
In Chicago, we do. I'm be honest.
Maybe in the hood.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's where he at, cuz.
I had narcs pull up on me when I was in Flint. I was hanging with my cousins in Flint a while ago. They put up on me and frisked us.
Now let me tell you something.
It was a high crime. It was a high activity area too.
Right. But my wife was one time. She's gonna be mad I tell the story. I walked into Walgreens, and I guess I think it was some U.S. Marshal Service was after this guy. He was in the Walgreens, and I'm buying my stuff, and I see this guy walk out. And I see all these officers come around him. And I mean, they had guns pulled, they cuffed him up, they drug him in the car. And I was in like the suburbs, bro. And I'm like, what the hell? I didn't even see him coming. And my wife was sitting in the car. She didn't even noticed the whole thing. And it all happened right next to her. So I understand some people know, but when you in the hood, man, and I've been to a few hoods, and everybody, oh man, you from Aurora? Yeah, I'm from Aurora, man. But we had a hood in Aurora too. But when I used to spend my time in the west side of Chicago or the south side, or when I spent my time out in LA or in the Boogie Down, and I spent a lot of time in those places, trust me, I've seen all the homies we knew who they was. All right. You know, and it is what it is. And clearly in this position, you definitely know what's happening, you know, unless he has some mental illness or something. And if he does, he definitely shouldn't have no gun. But let's keep going.
Let me ask you this. Is there any deference for, I know that, and you correct me if I'm wrong, if there's an unmarked car, you can't necessarily be charged for eluding the police because the car is unmarked. Is that true?
Unless, I think they have to identify themselves. Once you see those lights come on, they've identified themselves.
So with this situation, they're not in uniform.
But they do have clearly marked police.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Okay, that's all I'm asking.
No, if they were just a bunch of dudes jumping out of the car with guns, then you in the right. Who is you? You know what I'm saying? If you jump out on me and I'm in the hood, that has happened. Police jump out, you know, undercover gang officers who dress the part.
Just regular.
Yeah,
so this is my thing. How does he know that they're police?
Well, now these guys, if you see, and I'm gonna go back on the video a bit, see if I can find a spot where it shows them jumping out, and just so you can see what they got on right here. So I'm gonna go there. You see that?
But that's in the back. He can't see.
Right. But the badges are on the front. The badges.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure the details are clear.
And also the car, they pop they blues. Chicago police have blue lights. Once they pop on, you know it's CPD.
I got you.
Right? Yeah. And we know. I mean, I'm just saying, you know what it is.
All right. I just want to cover all the bases, bro.
Right. But we're gonna go back. I'm gonna play a little more. Yeah, we gotta do these as reaction videos next time.
Park neighborhood murder. The Cook County State's Attorney and the
Civilian that whole protesting, man, and come on now, stop it. That's all we want to do is protest and have an action grind.
Handcuff them.
You shoot at the police, bro. It's a wrap.
Right now, so the brother over there that's saying that they shot his lifeless body and handcuffed him. If the police do kill you, you will be handcuffed. If you're shot, they're gonna handcuff you. They're gonna come and see what's going on. But see, at this point, when you've shot at the police and they're shooting at you, they've decided to use lethal force. You know, they're going to cuff you because they're not gonna. It's just that's protocol.
Okay.
I mean, as a human being, we don't like seeing stuff like that. Like I don't like seeing. I've seen where people have been shot and I see the body still out there. You know, an hour later, I think it's disrespectful. But they have a protocol for that. But as a black person, we see a black person laying on the ground, our emotions, or any human being, as a human being seeing a human being laying on the ground, emotions going to come into play. So I understand why they're mad, and they don't understand a lot of what's going on procedurally. But at the same time, again, there's a lot of information that's being left out of this conversation. Let's see what else they say.
The officers involved told COPA Reed fired first, and they returned fire 96 rounds.
Most of the killings the police have done over the past 5 years, their narrative has been, oh, that person's had a gun. So they try to justify every murder.
If CPD.
Okay, hold on. That was ignorant. You hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
Dude, we do had a gun. Unless you have some information that they planted a gun, he didn't shoot at them. I mean, bro, that goes back to your point. Why are you arguing the fact that someone shot the police shot back? The only thing you got to stand on is, well, they shot him too many times, I guess. Ain't nobody going to jail for that, because he shot at them first.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to continue. Let's finish this video out. It's hard to get through it, but let's go ahead.
PD is allowed to continue to operate like this, we can only expect more deaths at the hands of incompetent officers pulling over residents in their own communities.
The rally was met.
Okay. If you live in the hood, homie, guess what? Your community is a war zone. We know that. Okay? You are going to get pulled over. You are going to be stopped by the police. If we want to start talking about constitutional things, then okay, let's go to court and talk about them. All right? And live to talk about them by not shooting at the police.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if you saw this. I think I tagged you in it. A gentleman who was an economist did a study in the country on police brutality and police shootings.
Well, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he did find out that police brutality was skewed towards African Americans, but police shootings was not. And he did it through 2 different research groups, and it came back with the same results. That was very telling.
Russ Roland Fryer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he got a lot of grief from that.
It's the facts,
right? But nobody wants to hear the facts. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There are a lot of reasons for this. Like I said, we're going to do a discussion. We'll bring on a couple people that are a little bit left of center, because I'm right of center. I think you're right of center.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for it to be a balanced discussion, so we can hear what their concerns are as progressives and liberals, and we can have a discussion about, what their concerns are, what our concerns are. I am concerned about people's constitutional rights being violated, but I don't think again, you think your rights being violated. The answer is not start shooting at the police. The answer is to,
right.
I'll see you in court, because that's not going to go well. Let's see what else.
By a lone pro CPD supporter.
Chicago police officer.
Don't be over here trying to instigate and incite nothing.
The hour-long demonstration continued and eventually spilled over into the intersection of Kedzie and Harrison.
Oh.
The peaceful protests blocked the streets. Then a few in the crowd clashed briefly with officers. More cops came out of the 11th district and restored order. CPD arrested 1 person. Now, those at the rally want all CPD tactical units disbanded. We should note that Police Superintendent Larry Snellen has called for the 5 officers involved to be relieved of their police powers as this investigation is underway. Currently, they are on a 30-day administrative leave.
Okay, so I'm sorry, man. There's so much to unpack there. I'm just going to say this, brother. Oh, you want to get rid of the tactical units. Okay. All right. I won't be. Well, first of all, I ain't going to the hood now anyway, unless I absolutely have to. Number 2, who does that hurt? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Who's that hurt? They're already short police in Chicago. They already got high crime in these communities. All right. The youngsters is bucking out. They beefing over YouTube videos and Facebook posts and Instagram and Twitter, and they going out and they shooting at each other. All right. And let's not be fooled. We know how many innocent people are getting shot because of the activity going on in the hood. And at the end of the day, you need law enforcement. That whole defund the police, that might work if you sip a macchiato, in a nice, quiet suburban neighborhood. But then you're going to have the police. You trying to defund the police for the people who need them. Because the argument is black people are over policed in Chicago. All right. That's a discussion we have to have too. I disagree with that concept. You and I both think that there's some things that need to happen in our communities across.
Listen, man. You being nice about the shit. Okay. I go off I'm going to go off the rails. Listen.
Uh-oh.
Listen. Problem ain't the police. This problem is us. You can make an argument to certain socioeconomic conditions, right? You can make an argument to some level of disenfranchisement. At the very same time, Rich, when we came out of Reconstruction, came out of slavery, we were poor and we didn't act this way. So poverty is not a reason to act this way. It's not. So you can go somewhere with that bullshit. Okay. Black people thrived. Our history is thriving through adversity, and it's not killing and harming each other. That's not our legacy that we created here and helped building this country. It isn't, and it hasn't been. That's historical fact. It's not conjecture. It's not how I feel. We built cities, Brownstowns, Tulsa. We built these communities when we were disenfranchised, when we didn't have the right to vote, when we didn't have all these things. We did that, and we thrived with education, community, and building. And the level of crime and the nigga shit that's going on wasn't going on there. And so, it's convoluted, it's multi-layered. You have social media, you have the ghetto culture, you have rap, you have all these things that contribute to it. But at the same time, Rich, in our communities, we gotta start. It's one of those things where you can blame socioeconomics, you can blame certain disenfranchised, but at some point in time, you have to take accountability for your own community and do your own thing. Nobody's coming to rescue you. No government's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to alleviate your pain and your anguish. At some point in time, you have to have some self-actualization, self-accountability, and say, in my community, I'm not going to do this, even though I'm under a tremendous pressure to engage in lasciviousness, criminal activity. I'm not going to do this. And most people in the hood are not engaged in this. They're not. And so we're not going to blame the police for what's going on in your community. We're not going to blame the government. You can make some arguments for the government doing it, but at the same time, what you going to do? You going to wait for the government to come rescue you? The same person you claim is putting you under this oppression, now you want to go back to them and say, rescue me? That's stupid. That's not logical if that's the position that you're taking. So we need to really stop this marching and protesting for what? You need to be marching and protesting them niggas that's shooting up in them gangs that's messing your community up. That's what you need to march. That's where you need to march and eradicate all them niggas and identify them so the police can come round them up and get them the hell up out of it. That's the bottom line. That's what you need to march on, and that's what you need to do, because it's the niggas that's destroying your community. Flat the fuck out. Fuck the bullshit. Fuck all the political rhetoric and PC. That's what's going on, and that's why people who get money get and move the fuck what they call the hell up out of the hood, and they go to the suburbs because they tired of the bullshit. They're not moving because of the police. They're moving because of you niggas. Now you can feel however the hell you want to feel about that, but it's the fuck truth. And we need to stop this bullshit, this march bullshit. March in those communities where you're getting your young girls raped going to school. March in those communities where you drive by shootings and innocent kids getting killed. March, do some fucking marching there. Put your goddamn your Jordans on and march through there and do that. And I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of this marching shit and kumbaya. This ain't the 60s where people march with some goddamn sense and for some legitimate causes and galvanize the community. That ain't what y'all marching. You want to get publicity. You want to get notoriety. You want to be seen, and you want to be social media famous because you protested and stood up to the police. You just a puppet, and you full of shit.
Okay, brother.
So my sister-in-law, I didn't know her. I wasn't close to her. It's my sister-in-law, my brother's wife. Last year, she was going to a grocery store, convenience store somewhere. She's walking out. A young African-American male walks up to her, shoots her in the stomach, and takes the car.
Did she survive?
No, she's dead.
Oh, damn.
So I don't want to hear nothing about no motherfucking police. I don't want to hear nothing about marching. Where was the marches at? Where was the protest at? Now, they found a young gentleman. He's probably going to spend the rest of his life in jail. Well, so don't tell me about the hood and the police. I don't want to hear that shit no more. I'm sick and tired of niggas and the police.
Well, I'm going to say this, Jonathan. I'm going to say this. Most of the people, I think you and I have had this conversation. Most people in the hood who live in the hood are trying to work, take care of their families like anybody else. That's what they're doing. I always say that they're being held hostage by a minority of brothers in the hood, a minority of brothers in the hood. be it the older homies that's setting the little homies off to do things, or the little homies himself that decide to do things. And I understand, there's things with juvenile brain development we have to take into consideration, but there's also a culture of what we accept and what we don't accept.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we are, what's the word for it, being apologetic about a lot of criminogenic activity, as opposed to holding ourselves accountable.
And that's what all these marches are being apologetic on some bullshit.
Right. But, I'm going to give those marchers, well, not the marchers, the family, because the marchers are opportunists. Everybody wants to get out, say their little piece, be seen on the news, start their little Twitter account, and be followed as an activist. All right. The family, I understand the family because they have a child that's no longer there. And this is obviously painful. So, and there's facts, like I said, there's facts not there. Okay. But as far as what they were saying, that trying to paint the narrative that the young man was killed because of a traffic stop is really disingenuous. And then we really don't talk about what's really going on.
Yeah, but Rich, there's something else that's real fishy. This whole thing is fishy to me.
Mm-hmm.
She said she was listening to the police scanner and happened to hear her brother. Who the fuck does that, bro?
Some people do listen to police scanner.
That's bullshit, Rich.
There are people that listen.
That's bullshit.
Now we do know. She didn't come off as one of the, somebody from the mob trying to listen to see where the popo is at. She might be just nosy about what's going on, but that just lets you know what type of neighborhood it is, because people sit and listen to monitors and hear that. And that's my thing, bro. When you're in the hood, we have to do a real purpose discussion about this. The realities behind it. And if you're free on Thursday night, man, I think we need to do that. Just have a real conversation. I'll see if I can find some liberal folks to be on with us so we can have an actual real discussion. Because at the end of the day, man, this is we're talking about some real realities of what's going on in the hood, bigger things. You're right. If I go right now, it's 8:00 at night. If I drive to Chicago on the west side and I stop at a Chase to use the ATM, I'm not concerned about the police in that situation. I'm not concerned about the police. I'm not thinking about the police the whole time I'm in Chicago. It's just that simple. I'm concerned about that minority of brothers that's doing the crime and holding the hood hostage. That, like carjacking, carjacking is happening a lot. Armed vehicle, what's it called? Armed vehicle hijacking, I guess is what they call it. So that's big. Home invasions is big. All right. And of course, you got the shootings. All right. And the underreported sexual assaults too. All right. Again, this is not most black men. All right. This is a minority of black males that are doing this. It's not most of the brothers. All right. So I don't want nobody coming to me talking about black people, black men. No, I'm not. This is not the majority of the brothers. All right. This is some people with some criminogenic ideas and thinking. And we need to start holding that group accountable. And, we can protest police, if we feel there's police misconduct. But, me, I like doing things when I know I'm on the right. I need more information.
I ain't for no police protest of police misconduct in it. Protest for what?
Well, I mean, if you have a real situation, now, come on now. If you have a real situation.
A protest don't do shit.
Well, of course not, bro. I mean, a protest, you and I both know, all right, we've been protesting, not me and you and I, but our people have been protesting since way back with Eric Garner. And how long ago was that?
Yeah, but so protests in the 60s and the protests now aren't the same. I mean, it's supposed to be.
That was 2014. That was literally 10 years ago, bro.
But the impetus for protesting comes from what we did in the 60s.
Well, I think that at this point, it's not what we did in the 60s, it's what we think they did in the 60s.
Okay.
Right?
That's
People want
to
take the form and fashion of something without the substance of it.
Right.
You have the form and fashion of what they did, but you don't have the substance of it.
No.
You don't have first of all, you're trying to create issues. You don't even have the position of moral high ground.
And you don't even have all the facts.
Right. You don't have a position of moral high ground when you're protesting the fact not a man shoots at the police and gets shot. You're protesting how many times he was shot. Why was he even pulled over? You don't have any moral high ground. Honestly, no one outside our community and many people in our community are not even trying to hear none of that. Let's just be real. All right. You got a bunch of white liberals and progressives who are supposedly allies, and a few black people in the pocket of that group stirring things up. And then you got a few people in the hood who are just straight up mad. And of course, the family who's legitimately upset. You know, their pain and anguish is legitimate because at the end of the day, who wants their kid shot? Like I said, but you and I both know we need more information. We've talked about Eric Garner, Mike Brown, Philando Castile. We talked about Tamir Rice. We talked about who else? George Floyd, Laquan McDonald. We've talked about a lot of these different things. And at the end of the day, well, sometimes when information come out, it's a different story than what we thought.
Right.
You know? So at the end of the day, we really need to see why did he have that gun? Question, why did he have a gun? Was the gun legal? Was he still firing at police? Did he only shoot one time? Or was he still firing at the police? Those are legitimate questions. And we don't have the answer to those.
Well, so we know that he, according to the report, he fired and hit one of the officers in the elbow, and it's a wrap from there. Whether he could have stopped firing, it's over. It's a wrap.
Well, if the officer got hit, and I don't think the officer got hit with that first shot. So that makes me wonder, did the officer get hit by another officer shooting? It's possible. You know, or was he hit by the young man? That means how many, I need to know how many shots the young man shot. That's important context to understand what position we really should be taking here. But as far as protesting, even if the police are dead wrong, that protest ain't doing nothing. You guys, you know, we have to vote better, and not just vote better. People say voting don't change nothing. If it didn't change anything, people wouldn't have to spend so much money to either A, get you to vote, or B, get you not to vote. There is millions of dollars spent to keep you from voting, and there's millions of dollars of money spent by people who want you to vote. So obviously your vote means something. The thing is, what do you get? That's what Ice Cube and Charlemagne and everybody is saying. What are you getting for your vote? What policies change? We all voted. I have to admit, I voted for Biden last time. Me and you talked about this. I voted for Biden. All right. Last time I got to vote for a Republican for president was George Bush. All right. I voted for Obama. I voted for Hillary, and I voted for Biden. I have not, and I'm a conservative. All right. But now we're coming to the new election, and it's going to be a Biden-Trump rematch. And people are criticizing African-American voters for not supporting Biden. Not supporting Biden does not mean you're supporting Trump. There's going to be a lot more third-party candidate voting. There's going to be a lot of people who are not going to show up to the polls. That's a bigger issue. All right. Because at the end of the day, you know, there's a lot of people upset with the Biden administration about as far as what have they done for the community. You know, what have they done? I was talking to one of my DJ, one of the DJs in Chicago. I'll say, I won't put him on blast to say his name. I said, what does the Biden administration know for black people? He said they appointed the one sister Jackson to the Supreme Court. I said, well, that means he gave one black person a job. All right. I'm not one of those people. I don't agree with her politics. So she's clearly qualified to be a Supreme Court justice. Clearly. I don't know why they made the issue about her being black, because that to me is racist. You just took away from all the things that this woman has done, going to Harvard.
No, let me stop you there on that. They made the issue of being black because Biden basically said he wanted a woman.
A black woman.
He said that.
He didn't say a woman. He said a black woman.
Yeah, so he said that. So that's why the issue of race, because he said that.
But my thing is, but that's what I'm saying about the Democrats, the right, the left. They tend to do that. They tend to do that. Are you say, yeah, to me, you give fuel to the affirmative action, DEI complaining white folks when you emphasize that we're going to get a black female. It's time. What? You just took away from everything this woman did. Was Ketanji Brown Jackson. Like I said, I do not agree with her politics at all.
I don't agree with none.
But you got it. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to. What am I going to say? All right. The woman is qualified. All right. The woman went to Harvard, got her law degree. What? You can't take none away from this woman. She's been a judge on the district courts. She's been on sentencing commission. I can't take away her undergrad and her Juris Doctorate from Harvard. And let me be clear. Of course, people won't say, well, she was affirmative action. Let me tell you, a sister or brother getting into Harvard is not getting in with no, let's say SAT scores or a low score, whatever the score you need in the bar or to pass the LSAT. You know, that means if your white person and this black person scored the same, not that they got a 140 and you got a 159. No, y'all both scored that 159 or 160, whatever the score Harvard requires, and they took into account race as a factor of deciding. And I'm not saying I'm not for affirmative action like that, but I will say don't act like this woman won't qualify. I don't like the fact they're acting like black people in positions ain't qualified because of that. You know, that's not right. And most African Americans, of course, went to state schools and didn't have to, have, so-called preferential entry. People worked and earned their whatever they got. But that's why I don't like affirmative action, because it makes racist white people believe that anything you or I do as an accomplishment is etched on. We weren't really good enough. We just got some extra points because we was black. I don't like that, And then the Democrats biting them. We got the first black woman. I mean, you took away. No, let the racist say something about her race, and then point to her credentials. That's how you prove that. She had the credentials. I don't agree with her politics, but of course, if a progressive president or a liberal president is going to appoint somebody, he's going to appoint a liberal or progressive judge. I expect that to happen. I didn't expect him to go get Condoleezza Rice or something. That wasn't going to happen. But I digress. We didn't get to talk about nothing else. So what we're going to do, if you're free on Thursday night, if you're free, we need to have a policy discussion, or maybe we'll set it up for next Monday, and I can go get some people to join us. And if you have any friends that don't share our political position, like I said, I think you and I are both slightly right of center. We're not extremists, but we're slightly right of center. So to most of the brothers and sisters on the progressive left side right now, you and I might as well be freaking fascist. Uncle Tom's, we gotta talk about. We were gonna talk about Candace Owens. I might record us doing that for a few minutes afterwards for that clip, but we didn't even talk about her at all. But I'm gonna go ahead. We'll end this one because we're at the hour mark, and just hold on for a second, Jonathan, after I end this recording, okay? Because we got some to talk about. All right, peace.